Good morning and welcome to Boston Outlook. I'm your host, Julie Mara. Via video chat, we are joined by Joan Corey, who is the business agent for Teamsters Local 25. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Julie. Thank you.
It's exciting to have you.
Good morning, Julie.
Good morning, Al. We're also joined by Al Khoubach, who is a driver for the East Boston Neighborhood Health Center's Neighborhood PACE program. So it's exciting to have both of you with us. Joan, I forgot to tell you before we started, too, that I've had Sean O'Brien on the show, I don't know how many times. So Teamsters has been featured here a number of times, and this is just another avenue that Teamsters has their hands in. So it's so nice to see all of the work that you're all doing in the community. And I know that Elle has a very important role as a driver for East Boston Neighborhood Health Center's PACE program. So we're going to have a lot to hear about. And I know Elle has some stories that he wants to share with us as his experience and so forth. But you know, Joan, I want to start with you first because you're really the backbone behind making sure that drivers like Elle are kept safe, especially now, given this COVID-19 crisis that continues to just be that secondary, you know, topic that we cover here each week on the show. So I'm going to start with you. Life must look a lot different than it has a year ago.
For sure. And I can certainly say over at East Boston Neighborhood Health Center, we are monitoring that. Literally, it's a day-to-day, a week-to-week change. I'm sure Elle will agree to me on that. Certainly over the past 11, 12 months, we've gone through a lot of different cycles. And actually, early on in the pandemic, we had a brief period of layoff of some of the employees. Fortunately, very quickly, the health center was able to, again, so involved with so many Boston communities, was able to reach out, and we were able to get the drivers back to work doing some non-traditional work that they did, but they were helping out certainly at food banks, making sure delivery of food was getting to those. They were assisting, and certainly there's medical care that there's certain things. I use dialysis patients. Those type of treatments cannot stop. So our drivers have been out there front line. They've assisted in transporting their participants from housing facilities or their private homes. Some had to be transported to nursing home facilities. So, I mean, they're just outstanding and true angels.
You're getting choked up, Joan. So it seems like this is a very emotional, you know, for you, this is not like, it's not just a job, right? Like you're in it. And it's so beautiful when people are able to do things that it just is beyond a paycheck, so to speak, right? Like to have those like connections, it just makes, I don't know, it makes me feel like happy to feature everybody here on the show each week. So.
Right, you pretty much hit the nail on the head. It's far beyond a job, I think, for any of us here. And that's why I think the relationship between the workers as well as the health center itself, I mean, we're all in the people business, if you will. And there's been no time in recent history that's really been so clear to everybody. And it's critical, the compassion, the dedication, the humbleness, you know, of all these workers. It's truly inspirational to me on a professional, but perhaps even more so on a personal level.
Yeah, and
thank you again for having us and the ability to share this story with all your listeners and yourself. We think it's very important.
I think too, like we've all learned a lot over the last year of like, it just sheds a lot of light on different work that goes on every day that may not have been like in the front of your mind, right? Like hearing that, like, we know that there are people that need to be transported to different appointments and so forth, but like once the world kind of came to a halt last year on like March, I think it was like literally St. Patrick's Day, right? Like March 17th, like everything pretty much shut down. But there's this like world that still has to continue, and that's the world that we're describing right now. Like these things just don't go away because of COVID-19. These things just don't go away because businesses are shut down. Like things still need to function. Things still need to carry on, and you can't pause certain appointments. And I know, like, just hearing stories of like people that are within my circle, whether it's in the, you know, the radio world or outside in my personal life, people have put off appointments and that sort of thing. And then you don't want it to be too late. And if we're talking about a vulnerable population, such as, you know, the elderly and those living with special needs and disabilities, they need to still continue day to day. Those appointments are vital to them in order to continue to survive, essentially. So, you know, Elle, I'm going to bring you in here because you've been doing this work pre-COVID and now in the midst of it. So talk to us about what life was like for you. I'll use that St. Patrick's Day benchmark date and, you know, 2020. And then here we are almost a year later. How has it been for you?
Actually, for me, it's like, you know, when you watch some scary movie, then, you know what I mean? You think like you live in this movie, that's all it is. Like, it was something new to experiment, you know, life-changing, and it's not just outside, from inside of your house to outside, and, you know, we don't know what's going on. We don't know what the heck we're dealing with, and you know, when you don't know what you're dealing with, that's more anxiety. It's more worry. It's like you have to not like keep going. Like you said, you can stop, but you have to learn how you can with the new style, new lifestyle. Actually, that's how it is. It's like living in the house, being scared of like what I'm dealing with. You have to do your job. You have to, there's other people depend on you. Those people, they have, like you said, they have to see the doctor, they have to do the dialysis, they have to, it's like, you can't say no, like, you know, I'm going to hide. You can, it's like, this is the worst thing. Like you said, I'm going to hide. You have to, you know, to build a style where you defend yourself, like, and you protect yourself and you protect the people around you, you know. That's how it was for me. It's like, you know, even you're learning, and you're trying to get in your mind to bring what's going on, and it's all kind of the things going on in your mind. But in the end, you have to fight. You have to stand up and deal with all this pandemic, you know. And thanks God, you know, we've been trained. We've been very trained in this company, like, you know, from the easy one to the worst case. And we've been in the front line and say, you know what, we are here. You know what I mean? Some people, they need you. It's like more, those people, the elderly, they need you more than you think. You know? Yeah, that's why it was a good, like John C. said, like the company stand up and they make us like doing the job in the time where everybody was confused. We stand up and we did all the, you know, anything like they ask us to do, like helping, you know, the food, we delivering the food, we go to the people, you know, to their houses for checkups, like we take the nurses there, you know, we've been there. It's not like emotionally, physically, you know. It was a tough time, but we learned a lot. You know, that's how it was time. But life back then, before this pandemic, like everybody dream right now to have it back, even if it was tough. But it was we used to do a lot of job. Means like we've been involved to the community. You know, And this program is one of the number one program in the United States. It means that this company, they create this program to help the family to keep their parents inside of the house. Means you don't have to take them to the nursing home, living there or in it. And this program is to help the family to keep their parents inside. We go early in the morning, we pick them up, we take them to the site. They stay there, they have fun. They see the doctor, they do the physical therapy, they do all this activity, and we take them back again, and we build this this relationship with those people. I've been there for 16 years. I remember myself, like, when I just started the job, is like, when I came, I lost my parents. I miss them so much. And this job, it was for me something, I can bring this love I have for my family to these people. I feel like those people, those elderly, they're my parents. That's how we treat them. They are related to us. It's like there's some connection there. We have a fun. Even we get so much. Feeling things. We lost a lot of people, and that's hurts me so much. If the family member they lost one time, the parents, me or all the driver, we lost a lot of people many times.
So you see the same, I'm going to call them clients, right? You see the same clients weekly, multiple times a day. Like they become
every day.
Yeah. So they become really close to you. So it's reshaping the job description for you, right? Like when you hear the word driver, you're literally thinking, okay, so it means getting from point A to point B. Someone is physically, transporting the patients, the clients, the car, whatever. But within those rides, you have the opportunity to, like you said, build the relationships. And I think that is an important piece to highlight the work that is done at East Boston Neighborhood Health Center's Neighborhood PACE program, which if folks aren't familiar with what a PACE program is, that means Program of All-Inclusive Care for the Elderly. And this is part of a much larger network on a national level. So this is, the work that's going on within our communities in and around Boston. I know it's not just limited to the city of Boston. It actually, expands outward and so forth. So, especially now too, Al, like your job and your role is even more important because the pandemic has put so many folks in isolation that you could potentially be one of like very few people that these individuals are having contact with.
Oh yeah, like you said, it's like it's like you said, the word driver. Let's always say that we're not just drivers, because a lot of people, like you said, when they are just drivers, they think like we just sitting in the van and that's it. Well, that's what we do. But our own job is more than that. We involved to. I have to go to their houses, help them, to be already sometimes, even like you said, give them, wear them the jacket, their shoes. You have to walk with them. Some of them, they live in the upstairs, like in a building. You have to walk with them. You have to know how, you have to make sure they are safe from their apartments to the site. Means the safety is the number one. Then, you walk them to the van and you drive them safe. You drop means we do more than driver. We do assistant walking. We have wheelchairs. We have, we do a lot of things. And at the same time, we build this relationship because those people, you pick them up, some of them every day. They trust you. You trust them. They told you their secret. There's many things like between us. We build this. It's like for me, it's like family job. It's like for me, actually, I swear, it's like they're my family too, because I know him for many years. Then at the same time, we have been in contact after this pandemic. Is like I've been taking people to do the COVID test. Many times they have symptoms, but with the safety things, but you still, you've been in the front line with the people they have, and we have some people they have a COVID, and it's like, but it's a challenge. Like I said, if you get scared, you're not gonna do nothing. It's like just you do what you have to do. That's it. We do the best we can do. All the training we have and all the stuff. And at the end of the day, I go home and then my wife stopped me in the front of the door all day. Take your clothes and spray me. I'm like, what the heck? Go to the shower. It's like, not every day.
Yes, yes. My husband works in a restaurant, and that's literally what I tell him. I'm like, you need to come home and you need to just get in the shower, change your clothes, like everything. So, yes. But, I mean, you have to take those precautions for yourself and the people who you live with, your family and so forth, and your inner circle, right? You just got vaccinated, right?
Yes.
Can you talk to us about how that felt? Did you get the second dose?
Yes, I get the second dose.
So I keep hearing that the second dose is worse in terms of like, not side effects, but like you just feel kind of lousy that second dose.
Okay, I will explain it very easy that people can understand. I get COVID.
Wait, you got COVID?
I get COVID.
You got COVID. So before you got vaccinated,
Yeah, before, just 1 week before I get my first vaccination, I get COVID. It's this COVID, you can say like, oh, I'm not going to get it. I've been a whole year being careful and been, do all my cautions to being safe. But the end, I get it. I don't know how I get it. I get it. But I was lucky. It's like I've been like 10 days cold symptoms, flu symptoms like pain a little bit, coughing a little bit. I was so lucky because those COVID, like I said, depend the people. Everybody is different than other. All the symptoms you get from COVID, they are weird and they are no good. You have to be strong, actually. That's why the elderly, they are very fragile and they get hurt so much. But for a young person, he can fight it, depend how his body is, how his health is, Even some people, they have some health issue, but they fight. Depend the immune system you have. I get it. I give it to my wife. I give it to my daughter and my son. It was a horrible time, like say 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Then we fight it. It means like you have to fight it. You know what I mean? It's like you have to be good in your mind and don't be scared and do what you have to do to fight this virus. And after that, we get up from it. We went back to work, and I get the vaccine. The vaccine give you just the symptoms. I want people to understand it. They give you just I call it is like fake symptoms. Means when you have a pain, muscles pain, or you have headaches, those symptoms, they don't stay longer. They will stay for example, when I did my vaccine, I did it like 1 p.m. until midnight. Then I started having headache and the muscles, chills, especially the chill. You go to sleep. We take Tylenol, and you go to sleep. You wake up in the morning, you take hot shower, everything is gone. The symptoms you have from the vaccine, they don't stay longer. Means for 12 hours, 24 hours maximum, it will go away. The people shouldn't be scared of it because it's just symptoms. It's like it give you just sign, reflex. But the COVID, you stay 10 days or 14 days with all the symptoms for whole time, and it's very bad. It's like they make you like being scared or you don't know what's going on. But those for the vaccine, it just give you symptoms. They disappear after 8 hours or 12 hours or 24 hours. But they don't hurt you. You didn't get something bad from. That's what happened for my first dose, and I was fine. I feel better. I feel there's a lot of things changed in my mind. I started bringing my power again. My second dose, it was not like the first one. It was less symptoms. It was just chills and pain, muscles pain on my body. I slept. I wake up in the morning, take hot shower, and everything. It was fine. It was normal again. You know, that's what it is. A lot of people did like when they heard, "Oh, I get sick from it." No, it's just symptoms. They say between like say 12 hours or 24 hours, and they disappear. It's just, you know, it's like it's like, you know what? It's like somebody's cooking and he give you samples to test. That's how it is.
That's a great way of putting it. I do want to just, for folks who may have just tuned in right now, you're listening to Boston Outlook. I'm your host, Julie Mara. Via video chat, we are joined by Khoubach, who is a driver for East Boston Neighborhood Health Center's Neighborhood PACE program. And that little blurb there that you were just sharing with us is your personal experience with not only COVID-19, but having been vaccinated with 2 doses. So I do want to just put out there that is how your body reacted to not only the virus, but to the vaccine as well. So as we all know, everybody, handles things differently, not only physically, mentally, emotionally, all that sort of thing. So we're hearing Elle's side of, experiencing the virus and in the vaccine. So thank you for sharing that, because I think, it sheds some light on both sides of what you've had to, deal with over the last few months and so forth. And yes, there is a lot of anxiety around the vaccine and so forth. But, we're all schooled to consult our physicians and make the right choice based on individual needs. So I would just remind folks listening that is where you should, go for advice first before, making your decision on the vaccination process and so forth. I do also want to remind us that we are joined by Joan Corey, who is the business agent for Teamsters Local 25, and you represent the drivers like Elle, and you help to ensure that they have the safest possible conditions. So, Elle has told us that he's been put through different trainings over the last 10, 11 months or so forth to ramp up safety protocols. So what does that actually look like, Joan, like from your end, making sure that these drivers are put into the safest possible positions as they go out there and help those in the community that are certainly in need of having someone transport them to and from these crucial appointments?
So as far as safety, obviously that's from our perspective, one of the most important things that we monitor. And I will say we're very fortunate with East Boston Neighborhood Health Center. We have a great partnership with the organization. And I will say it's quite refreshing because they do have a very good safety program in effect. They're actually cutting edge on a lot of things. I think when we started this conversation, I think that's, again, important and a model that anybody in this industry can recognize. And we're in constant communication with the local manager at the transportation center as well as the higher-ups. And they're always open and available for discussion. And they've had training from a new hire and throughout the pandemic. And again, to my initial point, they're in the people business. They're very sensitive to that personal needs, both of their participants, but certainly of their employees. And so I think overall, obviously the union will always keep a close eye on and make sure that's happening. But I will give a lot of credit where credit is due, and that's to the health center in providing proper, whether it be protective equipment. That they've had full body suits when they've actually transported positive tests, and they have really improved with just the maintenance of the vehicles that transport these people. So
I have to say, it's been very emotional the last 25 minutes here on Boston Outlook. I feel like we've all choked up a little bit having this conversation, but I think, this conversation is important to highlight. Here we are in the midst of a pandemic. Hopefully we're on the downward slide. I don't know, we've kind of peaked. Maybe we're on that downswing, maybe not. Who knows? We don't have a crystal ball, but nonetheless, I think this is something that is a positive side effect of the pandemic, right? I mean, there's been so much good happening, and the reality is that this good was happening before COVID. We just didn't really know a whole lot about, the behind the scenes stuff that folks like Elle are doing on a daily basis. So if nothing else, this is certainly a fantastic opportunity for everyone to be able to hear these anecdotes and really just, put that personal touch on the work that's happening. We have a couple minutes left. I do want to just make sure that I give you both the opportunity to share anything else with our listeners before we have to wrap up.
I would say something like, you don't know the value for something you have until you lost it. That's what happened in this life. We used to have, freedom. We have to have full freedom in life, doing what we want to do. But we lost that. Just, maybe God, you want to show us how we appreciate what we have. And you have to have a faith to go back and to go forward. Means life is going to go back to the normal again. We see light already. It's a huge difference between 20 and 21. With this vaccine, and everything is gonna go back. It's gonna take a little time, but we're gonna go back to the normal one we was. Just that time, maybe people they will go back, and this is gonna know how very important what we had before is like the value of the friendship. Being close to the people and hugging people, there's many things, we used to have and we didn't know the value of it. And now we care about lives. Back then it was like just people killing each other and we don't care, But today, for me, it's like, I believe the people, they understand many things and their life is going to change to the good things, not to the bad, to good things, And, even this pandemic, even the damage this pandemic did to the world, the people they will get up again and fight and go back to the normal. And people they have to be strong. They don't give up. Like when you give up, that's it. That's not good for anybody. That you have to get up and fight and have faith, and everything's gonna be beautiful.
Joan, what about you?
I would just basically like to wrap it up and again really give a shout out to all the heroes, all the angels out there, specifically today to the East Boston Health Center workers. And again, I would reiterate, and Elle has spoken to this, they're not just drivers. They are extremely compassionate people that are friends and families to the participants, and they treat that every day. And as a result, it's a very physical job. They're lifting wheelchairs, all kinds of things, helping people. It's a very emotional job because of love and the care and the compassion that they provide. And again, so they've carried very heavy loads all around, worrying about their own safety, their family's safety, the love and the care of their patients, if you will, for that lack of the word. So again, outstanding. And Julie, we really appreciate this opportunity today, and many of our members in every industry that we represent. And we would be more than happy to visit with you to highlight the many great people that we represent. And I'm very proud to have that opportunity to do so.
Absolutely. Yes. it's I don't want to say rare that we are able to get this, inside look, so to speak, right? This personal experience from someone who you've lived it, Elle. You've lived the role of being the driver. You've lived the role as being the companion. You've lived the role of, suffering from the virus, right? So like you've seen a lot, and to have those experiences and be able to apply that to the work that you're doing on a daily basis just makes it all come full circle for sure. I do want to let folks know before we end that Neighborhood PACE, PACE.org for more information, program of all-inclusive care for the elderly. That is what PACE stands for. And again, this program that is part of East Boston Neighborhood Health Center, it's part of a larger national network. So these are programs that are across the country that are put into place for folks who are elderly, for folks that are living with disabilities, and that are really in need this time more than ever. So I thank you, Elle, for the work that you're doing. Joan, same thing. What a great opportunity to highlight this here today on Boston Outlook. We've been chatting with Joan Corey, who is the business agent for Teamsters Local 25, and Elle Khoubach, the driver for East Boston Neighborhood Health Center's Neighborhood PACE program. I thank you both so much for your time this morning, and I hope everyone continues to stay safe and healthy.
Thank you for having us today. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.